So I wanna focus some episodes on these topics and what it means to me to be a collector, and maybe some best practices. And I want to start with probably my favorite one, which is finding the right cobbler. When you own an extraordinary amount of something, like I said, there is a grand part of it that's maintenance. And maintaining shoes takes work. I think that maintaining Doc Martens is a lot more minimal than maintaining sneakers. I can wear a pair of Doc Martens for several times, several days, and they will still look new depending on what leather it is. If it's a Pascal leather that doesn't require any break-in, it's usually like just great from the start, and will look a little bit more wrinkled after the first couple times, which is normal. But if it's standard smooth leather, or even most vintage smooth Pascal leathers, or even the vintage collection with the Quilon leather, they pretty much look the same even after wearing them several days in a row. But when it comes to sneakers, I wear a pair of sneakers, and for me, my sneaker of choice is Converse. So when I don't wear Doc Martens, I wear Converse. They look like they've been worn a lot. Like, they attract everything on them, and the sole wears a lot faster than my Doc Martens. So I don't think it can take a lot. Also, if you have a larger amount and you do what I do and you rotate your Doc Martens, it even will take less, and that balances out. It just depends how many you have, what's your rotation, how long will they last, and so forth. So it's every question is very particular to the case. So back to finding a cobbler. I've been here in San Francisco, living in San Francisco for about a decade, and it took almost 8 years to finally find the right cobbler. His name is James, and his shop is very conveniently called Shoe Repair. It's on 1051 Bush Street here in San Francisco, and I couldn't be a bigger fan and promoter of James. The guy is so cool, very professional, very friendly, very welcoming, and the prices are fair to San Francisco. He does everything. So I've been talking to him for about a year about doing an episode, especially because he was featured by Facebook during the pandemic of small businesses to promote, and I'm very, very, very happy to say that I don't know if that specifically made an impact or what, but his business is doing fantastic, and that's fantastic. That is so great to hear for small Black-owned business here in San Francisco. So in the talks with him about doing an episode, we've tried to schedule it, and he is he's so kind and open, and it seemed like it never really aligned, because he didn't want anybody to be there, and he didn't want any extra pressure or anything, but he really appreciated that we wanted to talk about him, that I wanted to talk about him during an episode. So I've had these pair of embroidered vintage Doc Martens that I purchased. Man, I purchased them beat up. I rarely do this, but I purchased them with the intention of just seeing how good I can make them look. And what I mean by me, I don't mean me. I mean hire somebody like James that knows this way better than I do, to get them back to their glory, or as close to that as possible. Last week, I just put them in the back of my car. I went out to do some errands, and then on the way home, I contacted James and I said, hey, you have some time to fix up an old pair of Docs? And he just said, come on by. This was right before he closed. Now, I met James through, again, searching for years of the right the right cobbler here in San Francisco. And I met him because I needed a pair of Union Jacks stretched. I was in the shoe business, and when I mean by the shoe business is I was a shoe salesman in the late 90s and early 2000s, right before I went into tech. And this was something I quickly adopted as an obsession, and I loved it. And I had a really big collection of shoes, and you know, back in the mid 90s, I used to love shoes and collect shoes, and that's when I started my romance or infatuation with Doc Martens. And I used to have a bunch of Doc Martens and Converse, and then I sold the collection, and then went back and forth, and then then it was running shoes, and so shoes has always been a great passion of mine. And I think the most consistent one has been Doc Martens, and then with Converse on the side, because how many Converse can I have? I don't know. Or how many Doc Martens can I have? I don't know. I think Doc Martens hold their value, and that kind of, for longer periods of time, that kind of justifies it for me. But that's my own personal psyche convincing itself of satisfying my obsession. So I showed up at James's place, again, 1051 Bush Street in San Francisco, and I brought in these pair of vintage embroidered Doc Martens. He went, secured that I cleaned them first, which I did, and as you see in the video, I cleaned them, but they were dry and just like, they just looked old. So after he knew that I cleaned them properly, he went ahead and started applying different treatments to it to bring out the life of the leather. So he conditioned them, as you see here in the video. So made sure that it was properly applied to the entire Doc Marten, both shoes, and and as he was working on them, we talked and kind of caught up, and it was really lovely. And then it came to the process of these like scratches and really pretty big nicks on them. So this is something that, again, Doc Martens are all full grain leather, except for, of course, vegan and canvas and so forth. But leather that Doc Marten uses is all full grain, so that he is able to actually buff these out and buff out these nicks. So he applies another treatment to them so that he can easily buff them. Note, really good note, and I learned this by almost ruining a pair of Doc Martens, is when you are buffering, you gotta be careful. There could have been some kind of shine, like coloring shine, that was on the actual buffers. I don't even know what it's technically called. And if not applied correctly, it could end up staining the yellow welt stitching, and this is very hard to get out. It's alcohol, and I've had to do it, and sometimes I've redrawn over it with, or one time I had to redraw over it with yellow Sharpie or something like that, like a pencil Sharpie kind of thing, which I don't know if I would necessarily recommend. I don't know what the long-term effects are. I was just desperate, I guess. This chemical can get on other things and then end up staining.
It was a nice day out there today.
It was a nice what?
Nice day out there today.
Oh yeah, it's gorgeous. It's 60 degrees, but it's still warm.
Oh, yeah.
That's San Francisco for sure.
Pretty deep in there, man.
Yeah. Oh no, for sure. Yeah, they got.
Yeah,
Yeah,
That's pretty good.
I need some time for that though. I need some time to smooth this out
Yeah.
and fill it in, you know.
Yeah.
That's pretty bad. I mean, not real bad, but you know, a little deeper than what I would expect.
Yeah.
Yeah. That looks a lot better.
No, absolutely.
I love the way they look. It's a great looking too.
Me too, man.
With that dragon on the
I
side.
know. They're very, they're kind of like, they're from, I believe they're from the late 90s, and they're quite the cult classic, you know? They're one of those that is admired, even to this day, 20 years later.
Which is amazing. This is, I guess all the laces in this one right here.
Okay, yeah, good. All right. Yeah, huge improvement, man.
But it helps, you know.
Yeah,
It gives them a little bit of life,
yeah, exactly.
you know.
Yeah, new laces, and they're gonna be good to go.
Yeah.
Thanks, James.
But eventually I want to make the toes look better. You know?
Yeah.
I would need some time for that.
Yeah.
I can take them scuffs out. Take them right out. I'll put them on here.
James, it was great seeing you. You want to say a little bit about yourself and your business here in San Francisco?
Where's that going to be?
I'll probably end up putting it on YouTube.
Oh.
Little
No,
documentary.
I better not say. I better not say much, man.
Okay, well, James is
You can talk
the
about
best shoe guy here in San Francisco. I've gone to others. He's the only one that I trust for shoe
Hey,
stretching
man, that's
and maintenance and resole and you name it. You need help with shoes in the Bay Area, you need to come over and see James at Shoe Repair. Just search for Shoe Repair in San Francisco. What's the address again?
1051.
1051 Bush Street. 1051 Bush Street, San Francisco.
Hey,
Yeah, look at that. Yeah. Thanks a lot, James. It's always great seeing you.
That's very nice of you, Jay. I mean, yeah.
I'll see you soon, buddy.
Look at this. How cool is that? I mean, these nicks over here, amazing. So here is the after, and there's the before. It's quite amazing. So these are the embroidered dragon from the late 90s, and as you see, you know, sole definitely has some wear on them. But as far as the leather, you know, after doing the treatments, after buffering it out, it's quite good. Here's the other one. They both had those pretty deep. Oh, this one had even deeper. But as you see, you know, and he can keep on going here. He kind of gave me the light treatment just to see what we can get done at the first pass, and we'll kind of work on it later. So I think next step right now would be let's put on some laces and let's see how we can fully bring these back to life. So here they are, freshly laced, brand new pair of laces. Now here's another little tip. When I have older pairs, I find that non-traditional or non-black, non-solid color it works a little bit better. It kind of distracts from the distress of the boot. And these beige and dark brown, almost black striped laces, I think are good match for these. It's just something I do, and I think that it ends up giving them a new, fresh look. Thanks for joining and geeking out a little bit about this, and in discussion of restoring an old pair of boots. This is not like a direct before and after. I try to make these as discussions and as close as feeling like we're all together talking about this. So if you have any questions or wanted to add anything, as always, and we'll probably show after this video my little canned response at the end, but let's talk about it below. So thanks again for joining. If you liked the video you just saw or wanted to add something to it, go ahead and click on the like and the comment button down below. Also, if you wanted to keep up with all the videos that I create, subscribe, and then once you subscribe you can tap on the bell and then you'll receive an email, so you're always kind of in the know. I mean, you watched it, right? So I guess you liked it. You gotta tell the algorithms what to show other people and what people are interested in. And besides that, I need validation. I need to know that I'm making something that people actually enjoy and want me to continue making more of, right? What do you think, Cherry? Yeah? Think they should do it? Yeah, she thinks so.